This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man is young, dark-skinned, and dressed in a Royal Carabinieri uniform. The girl is smiling playfully at the camera.
Why did you take that? Fine, but let's move. I don't want to be seen snooping around here.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders, hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara. And the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol, Couron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. How unwieldy your own willpower is to yourself. You're like an absurdist Samaran monk, focusing through not focusing. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but aesthetically more pleasing. You are a police officer, not a spiritual healer. You can focus the normal way by turning your attention to something and not letting go.
Is that what you're doing with those folders over there? Right. This is probably not relevant to our case. After all, we're not investigating an accounting mystery.
You're trying hard, but the data here is unbelievably dry. Something about containers. The drawer slides shut smoothly. The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover. Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism, they represent a society in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it. Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections: international developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note. Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée. Unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel, La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer. You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colorful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tourney. Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. So, all of it, basically. Oddly enough, this article has 2 bylines: Nasteb Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buka. Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tourney becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers, your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a frita. And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for. You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tourney is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
I can safely say the thought had never crossed my mind, Detective. I'm sure most things are, if the young men who wrote this article are to be believed. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Coke, the machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move." Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. 4952, and a moment of hesitation before entering the final numbers. 993. Calling. Calling. Still calling. Then...
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy. How may I help you?
The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows.
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy. No. Maybe you called to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period? If you need any further assistance, you can visit us on the corner of Voyager and Main. I can't help you over the phone. Are we done?
The call is terminated by the other party. Before you is, with great effort, he straightens.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois. I'm Evra. I'd offer you my hand.
He looks extremely.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't forget about that.
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat. I insist.
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right. It's nothing. Forget about it. Filter it out.
Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong convictions. I, too, have convictions. Should you find yourself...
You're no Titan of Elysium, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Mr. Dubois, I hope time is on your side this time. Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized... Very well, should you find...
You're no Titan of Elysium, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great... So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help...
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violent.
By the way, This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Don't mention it. But also don't forget it. I'm just kidding, of course.
He's not.
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only 2 words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun. Oh God, why didn't you think of this before? Cops have guns. Where's yours? Fuck love. This is your gun. This is serious.
Are you all right, Harry? You seem anxious. Don't be. Everything's going to be... It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't...
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Clare's help with this.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You want to cry? God, you're weak. Whatever you do, don't cry. He'll think you're disgusting.
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating. What is he trying to pull here? You need to cool the fuck down. Chill.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry! Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time. And I'm an extremely busy man, as I'm sure you are too.
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to discuss it with you. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me. But there's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines, incredibly talented at opening doors. And I'm sure you're going to open this one with flying colors, Harry. This really is very simple, and there's nothing shady about it. Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take our friendship to the next level. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry. Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door. Yes, your lost gun. My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground, asking kids, grandmas, everyone. Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just a matter of time and effort.
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age... Yes, Harry. You are obviously in peak physical condition, and I salute both your initiative and your physical prowess. Very impressive, Harry. Very impressive. Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it. Of course, let us dispatch with the formalities. You call me Everard, I call you Harry. My God, so it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but you are a fantastic science fiction amnesiac cop, aren't you? What are the odds of that?
I think the odds of that are very low.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean, see what his game is first.
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently my sources were wrong. However, if you did have a spot of memory trouble, I could help you out. With my big fat folder.
Words flow like a river of honey from his lips. I guess word has already reached him. No matter. No harm done. It's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's written on it.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind? Me and Harry are talking about his lost identity right now.
Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first. As you look at the folder, Everard covers it with his hand and pets it. He's hiding it from you because it's not a real RCM folder. It's just another one of those brown folders you saw in the file cabinet.
Okay, Harry, you got me. This is from the Census Bureau, not the RCM. Those Census Bureau people are absolutely corrupt. You should do something about them.
He got the name from the Census Bureau, and everything else from your actions here in Martinez.
Yes, Mr. Kitsuragi from the Census Bureau. Like I said, now I'm actually a very busy man. So is there anything else I can do for you, Harry?
That means he doesn't really know anything about you. A pity. The mystery of you will have to remain a mystery for the time being.
Yes, that's what I said. Try to keep up, okay? Let's move on. Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate. Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care, Harry.
Oh shit, I forgot to rest. See if I resting give me like health boost and shit.
The payphone hangs mutely on.
No, you not the payphone. Targeting system in this game is weird. So if you see me like struggling to grab things, it's because it's weird. It's freaking weird.
The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons.
For a little, just something to help you out.
Stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single mote of dust floats inside your lungs, though. The inside of the booth is immaculate. The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does hold some cheap painkillers. They are slightly out of date.
I'm not here to tell you what to do, detective.
You take the painkillers. They are yours now. Oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, Prophet's disease, sudden death, hair death, erectile malfunction, critical
Erectile malfunction,
watery blood, black mucus, uncontrollable weeping, increased sensitivity to la opera, inoperable joint disorder, total spinal collapse. Don't think about that. Quick, think about something else. The enormity of the case before you dwarfs the list of side effects. You can't even see the side effects anymore. They're nothing to you. You stand and exit the booth.
That's hilarious. Erectile malfunction. Erectile malfunction. need your shirt. I don't have a shirt. I'm fucking hairy. Chests on the. The fuck am I? Who are you? How can I talk to you? You mañana?
Your body betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
What the fuck?
Scab?
You're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here, to the Wild North? Come to see the strife?
Oh, fuck. What you're looking for is in a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the whirling racks. That's all I know. Organization is what you call compartmentalized, means we keep out of each other's business.
Where did you get the key from?
Generally gave it to me. Nice fella. We talk about life and things really truly matter. He gazed wanders into the distance. Not a mess where jiving, juggling, what it is for, it doesn't wait for an answer.
He means he's not going to tell you, cause he doesn't know. But he will shoot his mouth off with you now that you're working for Everard. This seditious talk sounds like communism. Just so we're on the same page, communism is basically wanting to kill the rich people, or deporting them to a labor camp in southeast Grad. But don't say that out loud if you're a communist.
By that, you mean corruption?
By heavens, why will you not be corrupt? We live in a harsh, distorted world, and in this world, Gilman is corrupt for all benefits, and we not appreciate it even. He is personally not too lavish. This seems lavish to me. He's reasonably lavish, sure, but it's prerogative. It's not like I want to, so I mean, a corrupt motherfucker.
This man has political theory, and it has not failed him today.
No. I'm not a communist. Even weak shell can think it. The only thing holding someone back or can it, shouldn't. Right on, brother.
The look in his brown eyes conjures up an understanding. For him, having command of his time is the most important thing. It all comes together now. The way he speaks about scabs, his general attitude. He's a follower of a 500-year-old Franco-Nigerian Boyadero code, itself an appropriation of Vespertine cool, that of a noble peasant or a traveling herdsman. True to yourself, independent in your actions, loyal to your friends. No. No.
No.
Bastards! We have a right! Hey, work!
It's raining again. It was clear just an hour ago. Well, this might be the last snow we get. At least I hope so. Snow has nutrients in it. Helps everything green up in the spring. At least that's what my grandma always told me.
Yes, think about the cute grandma, not the weird snow. Stop looking at her. Look around. What do you see?
Traffic jam.
That's right. And the canal, the bookstore, the harbor gates. This is a great vantage point for keeping an eye on you.
Fuck.
No, of course not. I don't understand what this is about. The kid did this, right? The red-haired rat? Can't say a sentence without or kipped. He's always giving me trouble. Maybe you shouldn't be. I mean, you do your job, but that kid is beyond help. And he certainly won't help you.
You've been resting here for quite a while, haven't you?
Yes, I'm tired.
I understand. The RCM isn't welcome here, and the locals want to keep an eye on us.
There's silence, the smallest of smiles.
That's okay, Nils. Do what you have to do. I think we're done here. Let's go.
Haha, I got you, bitch. I like the music.
Hello again, sweetie.
Can I help you? Yes, have you got it? You must be joking, right? You come here, trash everything, and now you try to pay with a novelty check? This isn't a game show. I'm not going to accept it. You owe me cold, hard money. I want to see that money in the palm of my hand. Every single cent.
Fuck.
You can cash it in at the local frit near the harbor gates, though it might not be enough to cover it.
A lot. A lot. For the room, drinks, and broken window, 130. Like what? I was rarely enjoying talking about the money you owe me.
The door is closed.
Fuck. Found my foot.
There they both are. Two identical shoes, both copiously green and indiscriminately snakeskin, reunited on your feet like two baby crocodiles. Good, they're balanced, comfy. Feels like the only good thing about you right now, truth be told.
Hell fucking yeah, I got shoes.
Kim also tries not to look at the pile of taped viscera on the carpet, or the weird suitcase on the hat rack, or the potted plant dying in the corner. But it's all just too morbid to ignore. The man is finding it hard not to trip on the tape, and not to send any of the bottles rolling across the floor, where unidentifiable sludge makes it hard for him to breathe. Smells of vomit in the air.
No problem, officer.
The bed is cold and not particularly.
What suitcase? There was a suitcase. He said something about a suitcase. Thank you. There you go. I look like a proper investigator now. With fucking gloves. It wasn't open before. Goretti Kubik. Tin Man is smoking below the hood and cushion slipping on his marks. This must be the willing cook. As he steps in, he nods toward the table and he says something in completely foreign language. The only words you can make out is Kursi and Kubik.
Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garansi Quebec. Please. It's not funny. It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove.
I don't think I need anything else. Stay masculine. What the fuck? This fucking game, I swear.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads?
The winch. Outside. In the backyard. Remember? No? Your fingers do.
Well, if there was a winch, I suppose we could look into it. As a side investigation.
It's hardly a side investigation. You already have a name for it.
It's hardly worth a title. Anyway, Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door is flush with its frame on every side. Old cobalt paint, rough on the fingers. 40, 50 years since this was painted, maybe. It leads to a side building, adjacent to this one. The old building next to this, half ruined. Whatever is behind it must be older. The door does not budge.
I'm not even gonna try to ask him. He already mad at me. Can I try to steal this ID again?
The worker is in a deep slumber. There is only one way to wake this bone idol from his slumber. Roar like a hurricane. Rip the buildings from the earth.
Why the yelling, man?
Looks like a Sow descendant. A lot of Sow dock workers around.
Really? You woke me up for that? Fine. What is it, officer?
See, it's interesting his dreams.
Yeah, what about it? You know, people die here every day. Someone's found in a ditch, another one falls in a manhole, a third one gets eaten by stray dogs.
He repeats.
If someone has decided to die on top of a tree, then how is it my concern?
Someone has to look into it. Looks like I'm dead. Someone tell me you know what you know. Sorry. Oh, little point asking you about the body, then I got other questions.
I can tell you this. Trouble's ahead.
What trouble?
You heard what I said. Draw your own conclusions. That's all I know, and I prefer to keep it this way.
The lieutenant gives you a little nod, then makes a note in his blue notebook.
See anything interesting in your
Thank
dream?
God, no.
The worker stares at you, his eyes dry from sleep. A web of wrinkles covers his tanned forehead.
I don't know what you're talking about, kind sir, but when I'm out, then I'm really out. Nate got it. Majorette's got it. He's guarding the gate. I'm just getting some sleep. Or was. That's the name of my employer. I work in logistics.
How's that
How's
going?
it going? Haven't you noticed what's going on outside? Good. Then you understand the gist of it. We would all be better off without the employers. For one, I could get some goddamn shut-eye. Right to sleep, I say. Indeed. Help yourself to some. Wait. No. Oh, it's empty. Sorry about that, pal.
The dock worker doesn't answer. His head is already back down on the table, in sweet sleep.
I need money to pay this stupid asshole. So many shit I can do. Never entered a lady's house.
Welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. My name is Plaisance.
The clerk extends a greeting.
Welcome, and please take responsibility for the energy you bring into this space.
Before we go on, you seem to be well off enough. Can you give me some money? Why? Well, I gotta try it.
Don't be ridiculous. I certainly will not give you money. I would be doing you a grave psychic disfavor. One has to earn one's success, even if one is a police officer. Handouts are nothing but manipulation. All they do is make you dependent.
Certainly there are good things to be said about dependence.
I will forge ties between us working people. Good practice for fighting our common enemy. What the fuck? And then...
Exactly. In this kind of business relationship, I could come and critique your work any time. I could demand things from you, limiting your creative freedom.
We wouldn't want that.
I am the proudest owner of our little shop of culture. Cursed? Who said that? Annette? I will have a word with her. This place is not cursed. It has a robustly magnetic energy. Good for commercial activity. My business is thriving, sir.
Sure.
What in God's name is she talking about?
Annette, yes, my daughter. I hope she wasn't slacking off again with her nose in science fiction. Tell me, was she at her post doing her job like a proper girl?
No, she was definitely slacking off.
Wonderful. Did you talk to her?
Yeah.
Great. On a scale of 1 to 10, how compelled were you to buy books after talking with her?
5.
My precious, her dedication brings joy to my heart. If you have children, I hope they turn out as great as my Annette.
The way you're handling her strikes me wrong as wrong. And it's quite a trouble. She's great value add. We dismantle the free market and abolish shall labor. What the fuck?
As a young girl should be, with the proper attitude, she'll have a bright financial future. As a young girl should be. Oh
What,
yes, how's my precious doing?
It's fucked up.
Then why are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse. Don't you feel compelled to buy anything? See those shelves there? Go, be drawn. Everything is on the shelves. Take a look yourself.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure, or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Insulinda, a very educational game for those interested in geography. Raubritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children.
I don't feel as if I have any kids.
Friends are technically like family. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real.
Jesus Christ. Only got 6.
Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. You know, who are into those kind of things. Personally, I don't like it. Not at all. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities. Highly immoral stuff. You can still buy them, though.
An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welkin Compendium. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Katawak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and a Pick Your Path adventure game book titled Tales of Wirral, Cavern of Velkrag. Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real. That price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense.
All sport magazines tucked away in a corner. Clicks national recipe of Arda.
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
No, wait. Fine. You got... Let me save the game just in case I fuck it up. Like I'm a fucking investigator, bitch.
You see a tattered set of curtains and
pull up in the
just
curtains.
as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified voice of the shop owner cries out once more.
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers.
I'm not a customer, bitch.
Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible for the consequences. It's too dangerous.
She looks away, mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people?
I don't care, you can't stop me.
Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't allow that. You'll only make things worse and unleash the powers.
The powers?
The curtains do seem frail suddenly, not robust enough to contain a slippery darkness.
No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtains.
But since this place calling for me...
You do? My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear sir. Thank you. Let's just talk about this first, all right? There's no reason for you to venture into the unknown.
Talking is always good. Go see what she has. You see a tattered set of curtains and a polyhedron-shaped cage-like trinket.
Alright.
You see a tattered set of curtains. You see some kind of charm. An irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets stares at you. This is a traditional Seminese ward, meant to provide protection against ill luck, bad dreams, curses, and other supernatural scourges. Inhabitants of Ile de Fantôme, the Seminine Islands down south. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm.
Okay, let me talk to her first. Let's do it right. Like a normal fucking civilian.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance. I already told you, it's just a storage room for employees. I don't understand why it's so important to you. Just let it go, officer. Go buy some goddamn books. You're supposed to be drawn to the book.
She's so tense, it's a miracle she hasn't snapped in half yet.
Oof, I got her.
Just for decoration. Okay, fine. It's because this place is cursed. Just like Annette said, they don't call it the doomed commercial area for nothing.
Are you serious?
Are you happy now, officer? Happy that you've ruined everything?
She closes her eyes and starts mumbling something.
Host of hosts, she prays. Guard me and my honest business venture from the curse that lurks behind the curtains.
The curse is so much worse than you could imagine. It's a disease, eating at the very foundation. It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy. It's not just that, officer. We're dealing with something supernatural here. It's the cacodemons feeding off bad business practices and disappointing income statements. There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever since I arrived, I've sensed an eerie, lingering presence, as if I was unwanted here. Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists, and even a pair of Simonese mediators. They provided me with the wards.
Well, they didn't do shit.
The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the darkness that lies further in the building. Even though now I fear, it's not enough.
Is your present part of the ward as well?
Oh, this? No, it's a special Himian amulet, blessed by desert pygmy shamans, with a spell of compulsion. It's to compel people to buy books.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with a different inducement spell, for example. It's guaranteed to boost sales 15%.
Desert pygmy shamans. That sounds like a rather questionable way to describe a group of people.
Why did you just tell me about
It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism, it's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them.
Wow. Void raves. You have new words.
Most certainly not. I don't want anyone who's not familiar with the psychic arts to get involved in this mess. Stay away.
Serious.
Leave the spirits be, so they can return to their slumber.
My liege, you know what this case calls for? A para-detective.
A para-detective. Convince her to let you investigate the doom. Please.
Time to fire up.
Ah, fuck you, game. I was supposed to fucking convince her.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Fuck. I have to do all that shit again.
You see,
Nothing. Oh,
she speaks almost as if she's oddly enough. The more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. You see this is a inhabitant. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish.
hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance.
The curtains, tattered with age and covered, just as you're about to put...
Sir, don't touch parapsychology.
She looks away, mumbling. Why is every...
No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Why? I'm sorry.
The curtains do seem frail suddenly. Not robust enough to...
You do? My God. Even thank you.
Talking it, the curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust.
Save it again. Jesus Christ. Just need that 72% to actually fucking work.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime. I already told. Just let it go.
She's so tense, it's a miracle she...
I'm not tense. Okay. Are you happy now?
Host of hosts, she prays. Guard me and my honest business venture from the curse that lurks behind the...
The curse. It's the curse of financial... It's not just there's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever since I arrived, I've sensed an eerie, lingering presence. It's not good.
Wow. Void raves. You...
Yes, the wards help the curse. It's the curse of
It's the
financial
curse.
distress, of ruin and bankruptcy. Everyone knows that all the previous companies in this building have sooner or later declared bankruptcy, and their malicious spirits are still here. There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Oh, there are numerous...
Desert pygmy shamans. That sounds like a rather questionable way to...
Damn, I can't save the
Describe a
game.
group of people.
Most certainly not.
My liege, you know what this case calls for?
If I talk to her, can I convince her?
Hello again, esteemed officer. And what?
Okay. Esteemed officer.
Hello again, esteemed officer. And
72%, let's go.
Slither up to her, you silver-tongued fiend. Show her what world-class perfidy looks like.
Wait, what if I don't want to lie? Oh, okay. Should I lie?
Are you sure? Don't think I haven't seen charlatans before.
I've returned from the void and para-detective from a long line of para-detectives.
You're no para-detective. You look nothing like one. And you're clearly a drinker. Pardon me for being so blunt, but...
You look like one.
I admit I've had my share of drinks, but only because the spectral realm is physiological taxing.
How do you know all this?
Here we go.
Your wars brought me here in the first place. Siamese blood also runs through me. And the boy remnant have the powers to deball all the bad areas. Oh god. What should I say? It's also good.
Your parsimonese. Oh, it means our meeting couldn't have been mere chance. The hand of fate guides us. But I am not the only one at risk. I have to think of my daughter. You are certain you can help us? Keep us safe? I can't allow any collateral damage to hit us.
Oh, certainly so, ma'am. I can assure you my partner is eminent in this particular field.
If you promise, good officer, then you might be our last hope. Do you swear it?
On my honor.
Thank you, sir. There's one more thing I haven't told you about yet. The entity.
The entity?
Do not act surprised. You know of these things, sire.
Of course, the entity. I close my eyes for I sense his presence.
You have? The entity takes the form of a woman, a witch probably. I've suspected that she must be connected to the curse ever since I first saw her. Did you know that she lives inside the chimney?
Chimney is the passage between heaven and hell, of course.
Yes, that chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. She has barricaded herself behind some metal security curtains. God knows what she's doing there. Some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask what happened to all the companies in the building. What is the source of this curse? Here's the key to the warded door behind the curtains. Take it. Oh, and please do return to me after you've looked round. I'm quite anxious to know what she has to say about the curse. What you discover in there.
What you discover? Probably just some office space. Don't be scared.
Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to disturb the spirits.
Shut the fuck up. Oh, this is interesting. What could it be? The entity! Para-investigator! A quaint picture, book brochure. Tome fascist magic. Everyone knows the most interesting thing about fascist Western magic.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. A couple of spook novels hide amidst...
I'll check this out later. I want to know about the entity.
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in dozens of scary little Seminese wards, your shadow looming over it like an omen.
Oh no, not the chimney! Cultist silhouettes of hair dryers. What the fuck? A vaguely undrawn portrait of a man. Looks like Guillaume Lemelon. That hair poster. Lemelon? Not the same pose.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of Seminese trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked. After exerting some force, you manage to turn the key. It's eerily silent. The door slides slightly open, letting a draft of cold air into the room.
Okay, maybe you should go first.
Detective, you're the one in charge.
The loading screens are black. Fucking scary, man. I can talk to him.
What is this place?
The lieutenant starts at the dusty training equipment. It's an adventure.
No, it's a gym. Though it looks like no one's been here in ages. I doubt the electricity still works. We should find a flashlight if we want to go on. There should be one in my kinema.
Some specks of dust shimmer in a faint beam of daylight falling from the window. Other than that, the room is dark. An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
Where's your fucking car, though? I need to find a fucking flashlight. Goddamn. Ugh, creeps me out. Kinema. What the fuck is a kinema? Is this a car or something? Where do you park his car, though? It doesn't tell you either.
Me? I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation. Ah, if you insist. What do you want to know? What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking about.
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary.
What? Think? I do most of my work inside my notebook.
We all have our different mediums. His is written.
No.
It's like you're locked down.
Something the matter, detective?
What's going on? It's like you're a puppet in his hands.
The fuck?
That's correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this, but you can't quite muster enough testosterone.
Glasses are cool, I guess.
Are they? They are mostly just cumbersome. Good. Let's change the subject. Excuse me? You have a distinctive way of walking. If I were to walk in front of you, we would surely collide. I hope you don't take this the wrong way. It's just a collegial observation. In the 57th, we call it the Jamrock Shuffle. Officers from Jamrock's 41st Precinct tend to move a bit erratically. They say it's a scene-clearing technique developed by one of your lieutenants for gathering evidence. It's erratic, yet thorough. Prioritizes containers.
Yes, but containers contain things. Shiny things. They're interesting.
I don't know. Containers contain, I guess. I'm making assumptions. What do you want to know? I'm afraid you and I are pawns in a pissing competition. You don't know? I assumed you were in on it. Better still than an imbecilic cop-off. It's just stupidity. We shouldn't waste any more time on it. If you want my take, ask me after we've inspected the victim. Later. Was there anything else you wanted to know about the case? Maybe you can tell me what you do know to help me narrow it down a bit. Then you are not that far behind, actually. Do you want me to brief you? 3 days ago, the RCM Emergencies Desk received a report about a security guard who was found hanged in Martinez. An anonymous caller said there was a dead body behind the Whirling and Rags hostel cafeteria. The cadaver had been there for 4 days. No one had come to investigate. During that time, the victim had been stripped of his belongings. The caller did not identify him, but used the word lynching. There is an ongoing labor dispute between the local dock workers and the logistics company Wild Pines. I was told we should approach the death as part of this dispute. They didn't identify themselves in any way. The tone was muffled using a device of some sort. The desk could identify neither the caller's age nor sex. There's a strong prejudice against involving the RCM in what's seen as union matters. The dock workers' union is the de facto police in Martinez. Now it appears they've started executing too. We cannot allow that. That's us, the Revachol Citizens Militia. We're the police in this city.
The RCM, or the Revachol Citizen Militia, is the police force you and him are part of. A self-organized peace corps of the occupied city of Revachol. The RCM operates within a legal twilight, yet its authority is rarely questioned. It's super useful to know this.
That's right. No, it's not a particularly mysterious case. The deceased is a security guard for a corporation involved in a labor dispute. It doesn't take a DeLorean polymath to put the pieces together. I just don't see the case getting more mysterious than that.
Supernatural? But could it be sexy?
Then you are in luck, because we are in the midst of a major strike by the Dock Workers Union. Maybe more than that. The union clearly wants a piece, not just of the industrial harbor, but the Wild Pines Corporation itself.
Is this a strike then? Or the first shots in a workers' coup?
I expect the case itself to be less challenging than navigating these community matters. This district isn't used to the RCM's presence, and the union rarely overplays its hand, as it appears to have done in this case. Strike, coup, revolution, it's brigandage, however you parse it.
You feel something rising through you, a familiar feeling, an opinion taking form.
When I said we have to navigate community matters, I did not mean we have any say in them. I meant we should be careful. If we are not, the shit will blow right in our faces.
From an imaginary fan.
Now, was there anything else you wanted to know about the case? Good.
Where's your fucking car? How about that? Splattered bullet holes. Well, it's obviously not here.
Whoa. What have we here?
Bridge.
A bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation if there ever was one.
True. They never cleaned up the war damage. The rest of Revachol looks better, though. The bridge is fine enough. Locals use it all the time, after all. It's nothing to worry about. Shall we?
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment building.
It's worth more than you will gain in your life. Wait, behind the greenhouse. Here it is.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
Apparently, she doesn't like people standing behind her back. Logic error. She is not sleeping right now.
Pigs come to take me out, trying to snuff me out. Then why are you sneaking up on me like that? It's not a good idea to scare me, pig. Not a good idea at all.
This must be it. The basement door is weather-worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head. The leather upholstery is worn and rough against your jaw. You don't hear any movement. In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you. You try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of the handle to loosen the bolt. Finally, the door unlocks with a small clack. Thoughts race through your head. There's nothing else to do than to leave and tell Everard. No conceivable reason for you to intrude on the premises. There might be important information in the apartment. I mean, there might.
Shit.
This is the flag of Revachol, the suzerainty. This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle. It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather. 6 small suns around the big one. This complex halo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag.
Mm-hmm. The tenant is an old-fashioned guy.
By old-fashioned, he means very right-wing. The flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colorful fabric with a sun sewn onto it. Like all feudal flags, it looks like a children's drawing.
I stole the fucking shirt. Somebody was cleaning this room.
A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure. A dark-skinned woman grinning amidst mysterious symbols. A broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes, and others. A little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. There's something disdainful in the way the curves and lines of the bodies were drawn. It looks like the artist is celebrating diversity, but underneath, he's just making fun of these people. You ain't gonna change someone's mind by calling them a bastard. The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs, then puts it back down with a look of disdain.
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment.
A little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vague. There's something disdainful in the way the curves and lines of the bodies were drawn. It looks like the artist is celebrating diversity, but underneath, he's just making fun of these people. No one's telling you to like him. You might learn something from him, though. The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs, then puts it back down.
I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this.
A row of mugs, a little ring. There's something it looks like the artist is, of course, you slippery, but the lieutenant picks up.
I'm beginning to.
Oh, why though? Where's this guy?
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes, and why place a tourist attraction in the middle of such poverty?
There was a revitalization project in 49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick. They got as far as the street lamps and that statue on the intersection before something went sour. I suspect it was Evrard's Claire's doing. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here. We should have done something about the Union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed, officer.
Probably your car, right?
Before you stands a motor carriage. The bodywork is covered in blue and white livery, bearing the number 57. This must be the infernal machine that tore you from oblivion. The Caprice Kinema motor carriage. In the cabin, you are welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook, a pull-out toolbox under the seat, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge. A scent of leatherwork and heavy fuel oils washes over you. A metallic drawer slides out from under the seat and clicks into place. The tools inside are neatly organized.
Take what you need, officer. It's going to be a long case. I'm not protective of my tools, like some men are.
It's robust, weatherproof, and well-made. Police issue, blue.
Cool.
Lets you see things in the dark you would otherwise miss. The pry bar feels nice and cold in your hand. Heavier than you'd think. Useful for opening all sorts of doors and lids. The handles are long and sleek. Snap, snap, go the cutters in your hand. You can do good work with these. Cut chains, locks, and ropes, especially belts. The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. Preheater gauge casts a warm glow on the steering levers and the radio on its hook. The white suede feels luxurious under the touch, and the metal clutch handle so very familiar in your palm. Your fingers waste no time closing around the handle. Clutch disengaged. Release the handle. Clutch drops. Right foot yearns for the familiar touch of the accelerator pedal. You have synced with the machine's mechanical circulation. The smell of freshly treated leather, the lack of dirt and dust on the dashboard, and a neat little brush in the cup holder, all seem to be whispering, "I'm good, cherished and cared for, in the hands of a tending owner." You feel an uninterrupted connection to the mechanics. Of course it's only in your head. Of course it is. But it almost feels as if the clutch handle is gently squeezing back. At the bottom of the sea. So strange. The machine is not on the bottom of the sea at all. It's right in front of you, well kept. Why did it say that? The handle is pulled back. Somewhere deep inside the drivetrain, the disc is mated to the flywheel again. In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers, a radio on a hook. As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch, labeled heat.
There's no use pressing the heat button. It won't start without the ignition key.
Translation. We're not going anywhere right now.
In other words, we're not going anywhere right now.
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid has a padlock that says, whirling in rags. There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here. Maybe more than 12. No, 8 pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud. 1. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 46.
Okay.
2. Standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 44.
Okay.
3. Hobnailed work boot, steel reinforced toes, number
43.
4. Standard work boot, number 45 or 46.
Wait, which is it?
You don't know. It's a miracle you can tell the prints apart as it is. The cold must have preserved them. 5. Another standard work boot, steel reinforced toes, number 44. 6. An aberration, light as air, even pace, same make of boot, but number 41.
Male or female?
Impossible to tell. Could also have been an adolescent. The gait is undeveloped.
I'm pretty good at it, ain't I?
You're not bad. It's as if the whole world darkens. Everything else has a thin film of unimportance on it, and the tracks burn in the middle of it, in a strange, beautiful way. 7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot, number 46. But the imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds 200 kilograms. 8. And yet another standard work boot, number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole, however. The right sole is smoother, more worn.
How many? I was pretty off then. I counted 20. I never got the hang of it. Hyperopia. Do you see anything out of the ordinary? Interesting. Let's name it the Old Soul. Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor. Or maybe a drummer? No, it's not. Forget I said it. We are not looking for a drummer. Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out their right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right. We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent, no? Mm-hmm.
Last step. Number 41
A
shoe.
woman or a kid?
Could be a woman.
Okay. How do you know?
He knows it's hard to discern sex from a person's gait.
Understood. Anything else? 200? Could it be the combined weight of two people, one carrying the other who's tied up? Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built, soon-to-be-dead man.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
Possibly, yes.
But why?
Yes, they could have used a makeshift stretcher or just march him up to the gallows.
Maybe they were... The victim wasn't conscious.
Even easier to carry on a stretcher, or between two men. Anyway, it's for future consideration. What else can you see? A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging.
It is not impossible.
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Havasha. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago.
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree. Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
Indeed. They all stood in a row here and looked at the tree. Yes, everything fits so well. Carried him over, hoisted him up, watched him hang. This is easy.
Either way. What else?
This trash container is locked. Force time isn't happening. You've jammed the pry bar under the lid, but it just isn't bending. There's a creaking sound as the pry bar slips under the lid. You hang from it like a moron, huffing and puffing. Clearly the technique is wrong, but nothing else comes to mind.
Oh.
Unsatisfying, hurtful. You hear a ringing sound, but not quite hollow. The can seems to be full.
The quality of metal is not the problem. From what I see, it's sturdy enough.
Unsatisfying, hurtful. You hear a ringing sound.
Let's ask the manager for the key. This is clearly not working.
Shut up. I don't want to ask that fucking asshole. I owe money too. Let me do the curse thing, and then I'll come back to this.
A barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plates. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind of beast it's dealing with. Lift them. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard.
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore.
This is fucking creepy. These kids with streaming Prince it's a lair. Fuck, that scared the fuck out of me. What? A production schedule, flame and memory. What?
This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube-shaped heart and a wired framework. The keyboard has a rectangular on-off button. A piece of paper still hangs from the printer.
The radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
What he means is that these things cost money. Why would anyone just leave it behind? This is the Ream Civic radio computer, model RC5120, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a Ream-compatible printer.
We have one of these down at the station, but I never really learned how to use it.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open. It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left dangling, disconnected. The filament you have would fit perfectly inside the compartment. Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking. A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, until a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air.
Good afternoon. Doctor's accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East in Flyndian. Repeat the station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? The filament you have inserted into the reader. That was a question. Have you inserted it into the core? Good. Please repeat the password.
Password? Of course it would have a password. That's why there's a human administrator involved.
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations.
Received. I will register this login attempt.
Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Thank you, and goodbye.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. Nothing happens.
Must be a password, huh? Screw request delivery months in advance. The fuck? It is the password.
You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost and the bear's eyes are glowing red. The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy? A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside of a refrigerator. The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. The fridge is huge. You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door. A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge. I know. What an unfortunate marketing choice. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day.
The fridge buzzes with energy. The electricity bill on this thing must be catastrophic. A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole.
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs. Rummaging around, you find rusty rifles hidden away.
Are these any good?
Most of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest, but one catches your eye. A bolt-action model with a fine wood stock, in better cosmetic order than the others.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still beautiful thing in its own way. Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Martinez. It's an interesting coincidence, I would say. Might come in useful in the future.
A few bricks have fallen. Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge, and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney.
Where's that? Fuck!
No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rats.
I will leave it here. Been 2 hours. I want to like do a long stream. This game is so cool. It's like an episode of fucking Investigator or whatever.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring